Welcome to the Italian Wine Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Vinitaly International Academy, announcing the 24th of our Italian Wine Ambassador courses to be held in London, Austria, and Hong Kong from the 27th to the 29th of July. Are you up for the challenge of this demanding course? Do you want to be the next Italian Wine Ambassador? Learn more and apply now at vinitalyinternational.com.
Welcome to this special Italian Wine Podcast broadcast. This episode is a recording off Clubhouse, the popular drop-in audio chat. This Clubhouse session was taken from the Wine Business Club and Italian Wine Club. Listen in as wine lovers and experts alike engage in some great conversation on a range of topics in wine. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. And remember to subscribe and rate our show wherever you tune in.
Hello, my name is Stevie Kim, and this is, of course, the Italian Wine Club on Clubhouse. Did you guys know that this Ambassador's Corner series is one of the most popular episodes listened to on Italian Wine Podcast? Because it does get replayed. So, Ellen, it's so shocking because like last month, May, I just ran through the stats. We had more than like 320,000 listens just on SoundCloud. It's absolutely mind-boggling because we started with 23,000 listens the entire year of 2017. So it's come a really long way, and it's also thanks to you guys because I was like in the beginning, because Monty, as you know, Monty used to do it for like 15-minute interviews because we thought people would just get really bored really quickly. And then we said, it's such a shame. The ambassadors do such an excellent job and they dedicate time and energy into this. So we said, why don't we replay it on the podcast? And some of them are really incredibly popular, like Jill and also Cynthia's episode. It got more than 6,000 listens. And a lot of you, actually, also. Fermented Boss, actually, yours with Ariane Pinti, that's one of the popular ones as well. So really appreciate the love and the dedication and the commitment from the Italian Wine Ambassador community. So I just wanted to thank you all for that. Now, on to the show. Today we have my travel buddy, Ellen, and I'm going to butcher your name again, Jakobsmeier.
We could say Jakobsmeier.
Jakobsmeier.
Or Jakobsmeier.
Jakobsmeier. What's the deal with that? Where is that coming from, your last name?
It's a German last name.
It's
that. The story for another travel adventure, Stevie.
Okay. So Ellen is from Canada, from Toronto, and but now she's in Sancerre, as she's just said. She's working with another ambassador friend of ours, Fanny. C'est génial, Fanny. Genuine Wines, and I guess you can tell us a little bit about that afterwards. She started traveling and then made some wine, McLaren Vale, and then Marlborough. What kind of wine did you make? I guess like mostly Sauvignon Blanc and Pinot.
Yeah, I made so much Sauvignon Blanc in New Zealand, and the irony is 10 years later, I now live in Sancerre.
I know, but different, right?
Absolutely. Sancerre is
like
conversation for another day, but definitely nothing. Rien à voir with the wine.
We'll need a lot of other day conversations. So, of course, I know Ellen because she's from our VIA community. She came with us and to Sardinia. Oh my God, that was so much fun. And you were doing the recap of like the second or the third day, and of course you fell off a chair because we had this like a setting outside of this very, very in the middle of nowhere, like bumfuck Sardinia. And so we took a chair, put it on a little patch of grass, and of course you fell over. I was laughing so hard, and then I fell over, and no one got that on tape. luckily. But you guys should check that out. It's one of the Sardinia Gita Scholastica series from Sardinia. If you go on the Mama Jumbo Shrimp channel on YouTube, you can have a look. We had a wonderful, wonderful time. So I still remember that. That was one of my most memorable moment of the entire trip. So now it says here that you're enrolled in diploma program. When did you do
With
that?
WSET?
Yeah,
I've been enrolled for a long time, Stevie. I'm one of those
that's gonna be
perpetual
like me.
students.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
us. I started like couple of summers ago, but then of course, I did 2 exams. I mean,
Life happens, and I decided to do my master's in wine business in Dijon instead of
right.
Burgundy School of Business. And it
But
was,
you finished that, right?
I did. I wrote a thesis, I
Congratulations.
got my master's, yeah, and because of COVID, my graduation was delayed. So, anyways, just had that last year.
Okay, congratulations. So listen, let's on to the show. Your guest is Chiara Innocenti from Tunia. Why did you choose Chiara as your producer to be interviewed today?
So Chiara Innocenti and her business partner is the winemaker Francesca Di Benedetto. So I really love very strong women who work in wine business, yourself included, and they own and run Tunia. So they started this minimal intervention organic wine, so about 15 years ago. It's at the bottom of the medieval village of Civitella in Val di Chiana, so it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. A lot of rural fields, a lot of fruit trees, a lot of grassy fields. It's still rather rustic, rather agricultural. But those who know me know I'm obsessed with skin contact and orange wines, and I really admire what they do. They work with the native grapes, and they work with finding new ways of making these wines interesting. They're sparkling, they're macerations, and of course, they're classic Sangiovese.
How did you meet Chiara? Where, and how did you meet her?
Oh, it was Fanny, of course. So Fanny,
Yes,
she brought me
it's
to
the Fanny
Paris.
Mafia.
Fanny, Italian mafia, yeah. So she
Yeah.
brought me to a Vin Nature wine fair, Vini di Vinaioli in Paris. And
Mm-hmm.
I saw Giulio, of course, Giulio Armani, who's the owner of Danevolo, another very famous skin maceration orange winemaker. And he's a long-term
Mm-hmm.
winemaker from La Stopa. And they're like, you have to meet Chiara. And
Is he still the winemaker for La Stopa?
absolutely. Yeah, I think he went on
Okay.
leave. Yeah.
So
And he's at his 40th vintage now, 40 years.
oh,
It's crazy.
wow.
Mm.
They make great wines. Everyone loves their wines. So listen, the whole spiel here is that we have to talk about learning objectives because it does try to bring some educational value. So what are the learning objectives from today?
Really want to talk about making basically wines in a minimal intervention vin nature style in a variety of styles. So we're talking about sparkling, skin maceration. We're talking about still. We're also talking about kind of the winemaking world of Civitella and Val di Chiana. I don't think many people are very familiar about it. So yeah, that's kind of the objectives in a high level for today.
Okay, great. So listen, Ellen, I'm going to leave the mic with you and shut up, which is it rarely happens, as you know. So I will mute myself and then perhaps come back if there's any time for a Q&A. Okay?
Thank you, Stevie.
Ciao, ciao, Ellen.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, Chiara.
Ciao, Chiara. Ciao.
Oh.
Going to do a little introduction, and then we'll start the questions for you today. So Tunia Winery is a partnership between two women. So as I mentioned earlier, the winemaker Francesca Di Benedetto and the estate manager Chiara Innocenti, who is joining us today. Chiara is the brain of the business in the sense that she has an economics degree and she's in charge of the commercial side. Before Chiara threw her body and soul and brain into this venture, she used to work in Milan in the banking world. She was a banker. So leaving the banking business and the corporate world, she really represented a dream come true. She gave up everything to go and live in the countryside. And she admits that actually her work has not changed too much. She spends hours in front of the computer trying to get the figures to work out. Telephone's ringing, I'm calling her. Of course, calculating the numbers and the planning for vintages. But she affirms there's nothing really quite as rewarding as, of course, committing yourself to the production of your own wines and your own product. So let's begin, Chiara. Thank you
Okay, I'm
so
ready.
much for agreeing to joining me today and to speak with me. I'm really happy to have you here. So I'll start off with kind of your first question, and let's talk about, you were a banking woman in Milan. So why did you leave the big city, you and Francesca, to move to Tuscany? And why Civitella?
Okay. We have to say that me and Francesca met 25 years ago in Pisa, and then for about 10 years after our degrees, start to work in different region because I was in Milan and Francesca was in Sardinia. After 10 years, we decided to do something by ourselves. We didn't know, we didn't want to work for others anymore. And so we decided to come back in Tuscany, where our family live, and we start searching for a vineyard. For a lot of people, this is quite a dream, but I have to say that is less romantic that than it could look, because as you said, I spend a lot of my time in front of the computer in order to make the business go on in some way. But we choose Tuscany, first of all, because we want to be near to our family, and because Tuscany is quite an icon of the wine in Italy. The problem is that in Tuscany there is not vineyards big enough to make a real business. But we were lucky because when we was searching for this vineyard, the Florence University decided to sell a big properties, about 300 hectares of a big farm, and we decided to bought a part of this big farm, more or less 15 hectares of vineyard and about 500 olive trees.
Wow.
So in this way, Tunia starts.
Now, what's the history of that planting? I understood that there were some nuns involved because they had
Yeah,
some.
because before Florence University, the property of this very big farm was of some rich nuns from Florence. But also in the past, this was a productive farm. So they produce wine, olive oil, corn, and everything worked in this farm. Before with the nun and after with Florence University.
And now with you and Francesca.
Yeah.
So, how did you come up with the name Tunia for your estate? It's a really pretty name. It just rolls off your tongue. Tunia.
Tunia. Okay, first of all, Tunia is an Etruscan name. Then we have to say that Arezzo and Civitella in Val di Chiana are Etruscan territories. The Etruscans, I think that everyone knows Etruscan. They are a people who lived in the central Italy before the Romans. We have to say also that me and Francesca wasn't born in this territory. So we decided to thank the territory that welcome us, choosing an Etruscan name, because Tunia is the name of the most important god for the Etruscan, the god that that take care to the fruit ripening.
Very important business. Very important god.
Yeah, very
It's like
important.
Bacchus.
Yeah, very important work.
Okay. So the vineyard is planted currently with Sangiovese, Cabernet Sauvignon, Trebbiano, Vermentino. Can you tell me a bit more about the vines?
Okay, so I have to say that when we bought Tunia, the vineyards, all the plants was planted. The younger vineyard is the one of Cabernet Sauvignon because it was planted at the beginning of 2000. This of Cabernet Sauvignon is a very technical planting because they studied very well the soil and choose two specific clones of Cabernet Sauvignon in relationship with the kind of soil that we have in that part of the vineyard. And these clones have the characteristic that have a very, very small production, but very big quality. Then we have a big part of Sangiovese that is the most popular grape in Tuscany. And the vineyard of Sangiovese was planted in 1970, so it's quite old vineyard. And in this part of the vineyard, we have not only Sangiovese, but the Chianti mix. So Sangiovese, Colorino, Canaiolo, and Trebbiano. Then we have a very big part that is unusual, not usual for Tuscany because Tuscany is a land of red wines, and so they used to plant especially red grape. But we have a big part of the vineyard in which we have only Trebbiano. In fact, people who live in the town, when we started with Tunia, everyone came to tell us that we have to replace the Trebbiano with Sangiovese. But we were determined to have also white wines, and so we preserve Trebbiano. And the only thing that we did was to replace only half an hectare of Trebbiano with Vermentino, because Francesca, before working in Tunia, worked in a winery in Sardinia, and they know Vermentino very well. During our work in the first year in this vineyard, we understand that this Trebbiano was a treasure for us because a big part of this Trebbiano was a special kind of Trebbiano that in the area is called pink Trebbiano rosa. Yes, because when it is perfect mature, the skin of the grape is pink, and is a wonderful variety of Trebbiano because the skin is very strong, and so it works very well if you want to dry it, and because it has very, very big aromas, more than the normal Trebbiano Toscano. The problem for this Trebbiano is that has a very, very low production. So we are the only one in the area that preserve this kind of Trebbiano, because the other winemakers replace it with the normal Trebbiano Toscano that gives more grape.
It's so beautiful in harvest. I remember seeing it. It's really a gorgeous, like, fluffy cotton candy pink. It's lovely.
Yeah. It's a sort of Pinot Grigio.
So it would have been then kept by the nuns, I imagine, for making Vinsanto.
Yeah, because it works very well when you dry it, so it's perfect for Vinsanto.
And then also good for skin contact for the wine.
Yeah, they produce Vinsanto, and they know about it.
Yeah, maybe Vinsanto, the original skin contact orange wine. So speaking about the area, I don't know, like, in terms of visiting you, I had never really known about Civitella before. Your wines are organic certified. Is your climate suitable for growing organically for disease pressure?
Yes, we studied this for 1 year before asking for the certification, organic certification, because we want to be sure that it could be possible to have organic agriculture there. The answer is yes, because the soil is a very dry soil, and so also when we have a lot of rain, we never have the water that stay on the ground. And then because the climate, the weather is very windy, and so it is perfect to prevent plant disease.
Perfect conditions. Okay.
Yeah.
So is that, well, I guess not why, but why make minimal intervention wines? We can call them natural wines.
Okay, I have to say that when we started with Tunia, we don't know anything about the movement or of natural winemaker. So we decided to have a wine with no chemicals, only because we used to buy organic vegetable, because we used to eat organic food, and so for us it was normal to make our wines without intervention, without chemicals. And then the second reason is that not the second. The result of this is that we have a wine that comes only from what we find in our vineyards.
Understood. Yeah.
Okay.
So no additions into what you're making. What comes out of the soil is what you work with.
Yeah.
Okay. So for some of the wine styles that you make, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a real lover of skin contact maceration, and your Chiara Fiore is one of my all-time favorites. The current release is 2016. So how did you come up with this idea of making macerated skin contact orange wines? What grapes are you using for this wine?
Okay, first of all, we have to say that in Tuscany, that is not a region of white wine. Our grandfathers, when they make a white wine, they used to have skin contact. So the traditional white wine in Tuscany was a macerated one. Then, when we start working with Tunia, we decided to have natural wine. And so we need to preserve the wine without chemicals. So we need to use the skin of the grape that are rich in this preservative substance, also during the vinification of white wine. And so because we use to have skin contact also for white wine. And then we understood that our Trebbiano Rosa was wonderful when during the maturation, because with that big aromas that this Trebbiano has, gives a lot of flavor to the wine. And so we decided to have this maturation. The grape that we use are obviously Trebbiano and also Vermentino.
Italian Wine Podcast, brought to you by Mama Jumbo Shrimp.
And the concept of the harvest is really unique that I haven't seen in many orange wines before, skin contact wines. You make 4 different passages.
Yes, is the result of some years of test. Because we started with Chiarofiore at the beginning in our first harvest in 2009, but in 2009 we use only Trebbiano and Vermentino with a big maturation. The wine was good, but for us it was too heavy to drink. We understand that we need something that could make the wine lighter. And so the next year, in 2010, we decided to add a little percentage of Trebbiano that we picked early. So at the end of August, when it wasn't perfect matured. So in 2010, Chiarofiore was made by a part of this acid Trebbiano, a part of Trebbiano with maturation, and a part with Vermentino with maturation. Then in 2010, so we have a better wine, but it wasn't perfect for us. And so, because we think that it was a little bit poor in aromas. And so for 2011, we decided to add a part of Trebbiano dried on the plant. So we pick a part of Trebbiano at the end of October. We leave it drying on the plant. So in 2011, Chiarofiore was made by a part of Asit Trebbiano, a part of Vermentino with maturation, a part with Trebbiano with maturation, and a part of Trebbiano dried on the plant. And this is Chiarofiore as we could find more or less in this moment.
It's a very complex recipe for the blend, but it's very impressive, the results you get out of it. It's all fermented and aged in stainless steel, I believe.
Yeah, only steel tank. Yeah, because these four different parts of Chiarofiore, we vinified these four parts in separately in inox in a steel tank, and then we have the blend only before bottling. So only steel tank and bottle.
Got it. And current vintage 2016. Okay, you also make a sparkling wine that I love that's also really amber in color, Sottofondo. Sottofondo is a little unique in terms of the prise de mousse to make the bubbles happen. Can you tell me a bit more about it?
Yes, we have a sparkling wine. We started with this wine a little bit later, not at the beginning, some years after the beginning. And also for this, we have some tests before. But at the moment, we are very, very proud of the Sottofondo. And it is a sparkling wine from a classical method, traditional method. So like a champagne, like a spumante. So with a double fermentation. The first fermentation is the fermentation of a base of acid Trebbiano, that is the base for all the sparkling wines, at which we had a little bit of Trebbiano with maceration. We have a normal vinification for this part until it becomes wine. Then during the harvest, we pick a part of Trebbiano and we let it dry in the cellar in little cassettes. And in February, March, we press it and we add the juice at the first base. Everything goes in the bottle. We cover the bottle with the chrome cap and we wait and we wait. Because the juice of dried grape is very rich in sugar and in yeasts. And so it starts the fermentation in the bottle. We don't have the disgorgement, okay, because we think that even if the yeasts are dead, they could help us during the aging of the wine. So, because of this part of maturation in the first base, and because of we use the juice of dried grape for the second fermentation, the color of Sottofondo is so orange, so dark.
So amber. Yeah, it's such a deep color. But the length of the flavor on your tongue when you drink it is incredible. It's really, really special, sparkling. And the pressure of the sparkling is quite light compared to a traditional champagne in that concept. It's a little bit less high pressure.
We thought about Sangiovese Sottofondo. We thought about a wine that could pair with food, and not only about a sparkling wine for aperitif or something like this. That's why we use a little percentage of Trebbiano with maturation also in this wine, in order to have more structure, in order to match this wine also with food.
Oh, it's super, super interesting. And it's always vintage dated too. It's great. One of the things that I really was impressed about your estate was the old Sangiovese. And it's a very unique for me in terms of the rusticity of this in particular. Can you tell me more about the Sangiovese that you have planted and specifically the name Chiasubuio? for the name of the wine.
Okay, Sangiovese and Chiassobuio is Sangiovese and Chiassobuio is our first wine. We started to make Chiassobuio in 2008 when Tunia wasn't ours yet, because the previous owner gave us some grapes in order to have a test. As I said, the vineyard of Sangiovese is not only Sangiovese, is Sangiovese, Colorino, Canaiolo, and Trebbiano, because is the mix of Chianti grape, the mix that made Baron Ricasoli in 1872, more or less, when he imagined it, they thought about the perfect wine. We choose not to use white grape in our Chiassobuio because we have not enough white grape for make all the wines, and so we use white grape only for white wines. But now we hope to replace some dead plant with other plants of Trebbiano in order also to have Trebbiano in Chiassobuio. Then we have to say that when the vineyard of Chiassobuio was planted, they didn't care about the clones, and so they use some plants that came from the other vineyard in the area. So in that vineyard we have, I think, not less than 20 kind of different Sangiovese.
Wow.
This is we call it massal selection, I think in English, selezione massale.
Correct.
Okay, and this is something that make the wine very, very rich, because every kind of Sangiovese gives some flavor, some smells, and so on.
And different ripenesses of your Sangiovese at the same time.
No, because they was very intelligent, and so they use kind of grape that have a similar time of maturation. Also because in the method of vinification of Chianti, they used to pick all the kind of grapes together in the same moment. So they need that they was ripe in the same time, more or less.
Very interesting.
So we have no problem of maturation. And so we are very happy about this Sangiovese, this Chianti. We call it Chianti, but really in Tunia we don't use appellation, no appellation for our wines. So for us this is a red wine, Vino Rosso. Even if Civitelli in Val di Chiana is in Chianti area.
I didn't know.
And Chiassobuio, the name comes from the name of a little river that is a border of our vineyard. Is the only name that we give to the wines that have a real meaning, because the other names are fantasy name.
That's right. I wanted to just talk to you a little bit about the power that these old grapes have. Even if they have a bit of age to them, they have incredible structure and tannin. Your aging that you do for the wine in the tanks.
Yes, for our red wine, also for Cabernet Sauvignon, we used to have vinification and aging for half part of the grape in steel tank, and half part of the grape in big wood tanks. We have first fermentation, half and half, then aging, half and half, and then the two parts goes together only at the moment of bottling. For this wine, we need a very long aging. You have to think that now we are on the market with 2013, because otherwise Sangiovese is something problematic in the mouth, because Sangiovese, the real
Powerful.
Sangiovese, yeah,
Very
has a
powerful.
has a very, very strong tannins, a very, very big acidity. And when it is young, they tannins acidity fight on your mouth and is impossible to drink. So we have to wait. We understand for our wines, for our Sangiovese, that the important is the aging in the bottle. So these wines stay 2 or maximum 3 years in the cellar and then 10 years in the bottle.
So you're really doing a favor then for your consumers. They're drinking an aged Sangiovese, technically an aged Chianti, already
Yeah.
with a good amount of time. Oh, that's so special. Really, really delicious. Now, you spoke
Yeah.
about your wines being made for food pairings and how you do them with intention of something to eat. What are we eating with your wines? What is the regional cuisine or other maybe interesting pairings you can think of?
Okay, it's not simple because Tuscany cuisine is quite big, but I can think, for example, for red wines, we can have uh, pasta with, for example, sauce that is typical in the land of Arezzo, or game, or offal, something like this. Instead, for orange wines, obviously cheese, then vegetable dishes, and also dishes based on liver that are very used in, I think, all the Tuscany.
I think the pairing I remember the most, Chiara, is when you took me to that restaurant on top of
Uh-huh.
the medieval village of the Val di Chiana in Civitella. And I had the best burger of my life. It was made from the local cow,
Yeah,
from the Chianina cow. It was incredible.
yeah, because Val di Chiana is the land of Chianina, and is incredible.
Yeah, with your son.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
yeah.
You spoke about future projects that you have planned, maybe for doing some replantation. You also recently added a contrapunto cuvee into the mix. What are some of
Yeah.
the plans you have maybe coming up for future projects?
Yeah, where we need obviously to increase the number of plants of white grape, especially Trebbiano. We start and we have to go on with this project because we have a very, very big problem with wild animal because they enter into the vineyard and they eat the little plant that we have planted. And so every year we plant 5,000 plants and they hit 2,000. And so every
It's a
year we
lot of
have to
money.
start again. Yeah. This is a big problem also because the law doesn't allow us to put very, very high fence, but also small fence. And so we take away I don't know the name, the wild pig.
The wild boar.
Okay, but we can't do nothing with the Bambi,
Yeah, with the deer.
with
That's right, Bambi.
the deer,
Yeah.
the deer, and they hit more the little plants than the grape. And so we have this big problem because our vineyards are quite old, and so a lot of plants are died. And for this reason, we need to replace some of them, but we can't. We try, but it is a very difficult war with them.
Mm.
We would like to reach, I think, 30,000 bottles. So increase a little bit our production. At the moment, we are around 25,000 bottles. But we don't want to increase more than 30,000 bottles because we want to have the control. We want to keep on having control on the production. And we can't increase the number of bottles because we are only 2. And so we can't have the vinification of more than tot bottle.
How many people are on your team during harvest?
Very small number of people, not more than 6, 7 people, because we every day we don't pick a lot of grape. We have only one one tractor of grape, and then we go to the cellar and immediately we have the vinification. And we need that people understand the kind of grape that they have to pick, because we make a big choice during the harvest. We take with us only the perfect grape, and so we call to the harvest, for the harvest, only people that worked with us since some years. This because when you decide to work in a natural way, and so you decide not to add chemicals, and so not to adjust the wine in a second moment, you need perfect grape. It's the only way to have a good natural wine.
Good grapes to make great wine, of course.
Yeah.
How long does your harvest last? Just one last question.
This is a very difficult question,
I
because
know.
usually for us is a very long harvest, because we start in August with the first part of Trebbiano, and we end in November, at the end of October, with the over matured Trebbiano. Last year, with this climate that is probably crazy at the moment, all the harvest finished before the end of September.
Wow.
So a very short harvest. We work every day. We was destroyed, uh, but we don't know if the rhythm will be this one next in September, or we come back to the normal rhythm. We don't know.
Wow. Crazy.
Our normal harvests are very long.
Yeah, I think you have the award for some of the longest harvests I've heard of in Europe. I haven't had a harvest that long since Australia, even from when I was in Canada doing winemaking. Thank you so much for
Thank
everything.
you. Thank you.
The discussion with you is always a pleasure to learn more about your little area and the really secret, I don't know, special zone of Civitella.
Thank you. Thank you for invite me to this conversation.
It was really great. Stevie, did you have anything else to add to the chat today?
Okay, very good. Thank you so much for both of you for this lovely discussions. I'm going to bring on Laika and Joy. Joy actually has COVID today. Hey, Joy. Joy, are you alive? Joy has COVID. Hey, Joy, she went home sick yesterday. And then
Hi, I'm
she
here.
just, oh my God, you sound really terrible.
It's okay. It's all good. I'm listening. Sorry.
Are you okay?
I'm good. Yeah.
You're not that convincing, but okay, I'm gonna let you go. So Joy is, I just wanted to give a shout out to Joy, who's our, of course, our Italian wine podcast producer, who's been doing a wonderful job. And what about you, Laika? Laika, are you on? Hello, Laika.
Everybody has COVID, Stevie.
No, I think she's on a train or something. Listen, I
Probably I was a little bit annoying. Everyone is sleeping.
No, 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 not at all. I think, listen, Joy actually never shuts up. So it's only because she's very, very, very sick, you know? And Laika, I don't know what's going on, Laika. But Chiara, listen, for person like who is unfamiliar with your wine, what are like in terms of tasting profiles, what are the things that they should look for in your particular wines? Is there any like what is your signature wine for first of all?
Okay. Probably some years ago I had said Chiaro Fiore, but now Sottofondo is taking a good way. So probably we can say the orange wine, because they say that they are orange wine that only Tunia makes this kind of orange wine. Is a sort of I say it in Italy, marchio di fabbrica. They recognize always, also when they have a blind taste, that about what wine they are tasting. Chiarfiore and Sottofondo.
And so how many labels do you have?
So we have these two orange wine, then we have three red wine, one Chiasso Buio, the other one is one from Cabernet Sauvignon 100%, that is Cantomoro, and then there is another red, Contrappunto, that is a blend between Sangiovese and Cabernet Sauvignon, is the new entry, because we have it since 2018, and is a red, a little bit easier to drink, light, and with not so big aging. Is something that could be drink during the summer, that you could refrigerate, and something like this. And then we have a sweet wine, a sort of Vinsanto, from dried Trebbiano.
And can you give us a little bit of an idea in terms of your volume of production? How many bottles do you produce?
In total,
Yes, in total.
25,000 bottles, not more. Even if we have 15 hectares of vineyard, so we have a very, very small production. We have 30 quintali, I don't know, 300 kilos of grapes per hectare. It's a very, very low production because the vineyard was old, and because also the new one, the Cabernet Sauvignon, the vineyard of Cabernet Sauvignon, is a specific clone with a very low production. And so we have 25 bottles with 15 hectares, when in a modern system of planting you could have with 7 hectares probably.
And your wine is, would you classify your wine as a natural wine?
No, could you repeat, please?
Would you consider your wine production to be natural? Like, are your wines natural wines?
Yeah. Absolutely natural wine, because we don't add nothing to the wine, only if it is necessary, a little bit of sulfates, but only if it is necessary. We are learning to do these wines, and every year we decrease the quantity of sulfites, and at the moment we have uh, 4 wines on 6 without sulfites at all.
So how does the winery visits work? Do they call in advance? How can they
Yeah.
come and visit the winery? That's my question.
Okay. We don't use to make a lot of winery visits or wine tasting. And so we are not open every day, because we are only 2 and we have not enough energy to make everything. So I ask everyone to call me before come, and then take an appointment, and we will be very, very happy to have you and everyone in the cellar, but only with an appointment, because often we are not in the tasting room, we are in the vineyard, we are in the cellar, and so sometimes happen that someone call me and they say, "Oh, I'm here, I would like to taste your wine." So this is a problem, because I'm in Parma, because I have a wine fair and no one is there. And so for everyone, they have to call me before.
And how many people work in your winery? Like, there's yourself, and then who else? How many other people work in the company?
We have normally me and Francesca, that are in charge of all the administrative, commercial, marketing for me, and Francesca for the production, so the vineyard and the cellar. Then we have 3 men that help us in the work in the vineyard and on the tractor. So
Okay.
in total, we are 5.
Right.
During the harvest, a little bit more.
Right. So it's a very skinny staff, and
Yeah,
you're a
yeah.
small company,
Because,
so people need to call you in advance to make appointments.
yeah, yeah.
So how
Because
how would they get in touch with you, Chiara?
there is a website. There
Can
is
can you repeat to us your website?
www.tunia.it.
Okay,
Tunia.it.
tunia.it. And there are all the
Yes.
information available on the website. Great. Well,
And
listen,
then also on Facebook, the page Tunia Wines, or the page, my personal page, Chiara Innocenti.
Great. Thank you so much. And I love the Ambassador's Corner because I get a chance to meet and listen to producers with whom I've never met. So I very much look forward to tasting your wine sometime in the near future with Ellen and Fanny and yourself, and hopefully get a chance to visit sometime. Thank you so much, Chiara, and ciao,
Ciao,
Ellen.
Stevie. Ciao, Chiara. Ciao, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going
Ciao
to
a
close
tutti,
up the
grazie
room.
mille.
All right. Ciao, ragazzi.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Italian Wine Podcast, brought to you by Vinitaly Academy, home of the gold standard of Italian wine education. Do you want to be the next ambassador? Apply online at vinitalyinternational.com for courses in London, Austria, and Hong Kong, the 27th to the 29th of July. Remember to subscribe and like Italian Wine Podcast, and catch us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and wherever you get your pods. You can also find our entire back catalog of episodes at ItalianWinePodcast.com.
Hi guys, I'm Joy Livingston and I am the producer of the Italian Wine Podcast. Thank you for listening. We are the only wine podcast that has been doing a daily show since the pandemic began. This is a labor of love and we are committed to bringing you free content every day. Of course, this takes time and effort, not to mention the cost of equipment, production, and editing. We would be grateful for your donations, suggestions, requests, and ideas. For more information on how to get in touch, go to ItalianWinePodcast.com.